Today, we'll be going over some new discussions about Alexa Bliss's WWE return, new information regarding Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman's split, AJ Lee's movie, and much more. Let's start things off with the new discussions around Alexa Bliss's WWE return. Alexa Bliss last appeared back in September during a WWE Raw Women's title match at Extreme Rules. Alexa was written off of WWE television in a very impactful way that night. She had her long, undefeated streak snapped, she was pinned, and her Lily doll was shredded to pieces, causing Alexa to enter a massive breakdown and to never be seen again thus far. It caught a lot of people off guard because everyone thought that this moment here would be the big climax and payoff for Alexa Bliss's entire dark story. She was turned by Bray, broke away from Bray, and everyone expected her to capture the women's title again for the first time in 3 years and have this dominant run on top. So that's what everyone expected to see at Extreme Rules. This big moment where she defeats Charlotte Flair for the title and takes it from there. But instead, we got Lily's demise and a lengthy hiatus for her character. There's been reports over the last few months that claim it was surgery related, and she was recovering from all of that. And there's no issue with that at all, completely understandable. But where the worry starts to kick in is with the character's return and direction itself. Former WWE writers and other wrestling personalities have been discussing Alexa's return and speculating about it. They said that Alexa will most likely return with a completely different character, but zero transition, which will immediately translate to hurting your audience's intelligence, because a sudden change to character upon her return would be a way of saying, forget everything you just saw with Alexa Bliss over the last year and a half. They also discussed WWE's tendency to suddenly run away from something and start something new without any explanation or transition, and yes, that is a big issue with WWE programming. They'll introduce you to something, invest a lot of time in it, but then suddenly decide to put an end to it and want their audience to forget they ever saw that story. And that's the biggest concerning issue for when it comes to Alexa Bliss's return. Are we going to see WWE's specialty move here with Alexa of changing an entire character, throwing away the past year and a half and just starting new without any explanation or transition upon her return? That's the most fearful thing right now. There is hype for Alexa's return, a lot of hype, but history tells us not to get our expectations too high. Bray Wyatt is a perfect example of that. He had 2 huge hiatuses during 2021, and both times it was hyped up as if there was going to be this big change and new direction for him. But nothing was planned, nothing happened. So when it comes to Alexa's hiatus, a lot of people are comparing it to Bray's hiatus. Is there something actually planned here for her return? Or are we just winging it on this spot? If they want to take Alexa's character in a new direction, by all means, that's not an issue at all. You just have to make sure there's an explanation or transition period. Alexa just can't come walking down the ramp the night of her return in jeans and street clothes, because that's not where we left off with the character. She was possessed and was best friends with an evil doll for so many months. You have to pick up from there and then work on the transition to where you want to take her next. It can't just be, here's Alexa, she's normal again right away from the first night of her return. That would be very insulting because you would be erasing the past year and a half that everyone invested in her story. There has to be a transition story, especially for a huge character like this. When Alexa was transitioning into her dark persona, gotta give WWE credit, it was perfectly done. She wasn't this crazy obsessed fiend girl overnight. It was a long, lengthy transition that was done perfectly. So if you want to bring Alexa out of that persona, we better see another transition story to get her to that new character. Doing it the way with an on-screen transition doesn't hurt the audience's intelligence. You're still acknowledging everything she went through over the last year. You would just be telling a story of how she's getting out of it now. And it doesn't have to be anything too complex. There's no Fiend anymore. There's no Lily. Maybe the normal Alexa is just starting to come through the cracks again. It can be really simple. but we just have to have something to explain her transition. You can't just have the closing moments of Extreme Rules as the big transitioning moment either. So hopefully that wasn't their plan. So there's a lot of hype around Alexa Bliss's return. We're all hyped up to talk about it, but yes, there's that small underlying concern that WWE will insult our intelligence with a big character change with no explanation at all. So that is something that's going to be in the back of our heads until the return actually happens. Alexa is a top superstar, huge merchandise seller, one of the biggest names on the roster, so hopefully she does get some decent story for her new direction and new character. Some more information and reports have been released regarding Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman's breakup segment. The latest report claims that Roman and Heyman's breakup was not a last-second decision that was made earlier in the day. According to the report, it's been mapped out for a while now, and that date was circled on the calendar as the big breakup moment. The reason why this is actually significant news is because that's not usually how things go. Everyone knows that Raw and SmackDown scripts usually see a handful of rewrites just hours before the show goes live, and sometimes we do see some highly questionable last-second decisions that leaves us scratching our heads. But thankfully that doesn't appear to be the case with Roman's story. This story is actually planned out well in advance. So that is great news because it tells us that Roman's story is still getting crucial treatment. They have big moments planned weeks ahead of time. That seems to tell us that we can continue to expect some high-quality storytelling from this specific storyline. In other news, AJ Mendez, formerly known as AJ Lee to WWE fans, just wrapped up production for an upcoming Netflix movie. She made the reveal on Instagram by saying this, quote, "We wrote a movie, and these superstars just wrapped production. Thank you Universal 1440, Tim Kwok, and for bringing Amy Garcia and me on board. Cannot wait to see the magic this amazing cast and crew brought to life," end quote. So it wasn't that long ago that the news first came out about AJ joining the team, but now production has fully wrapped and they'll now start the editing process. As far as AJ's role in the film, she's not an on-screen actress. She was a member of the writer's room for the film. AJ has wrote hundreds of comics over the years, even teaming up with DC Comics for a Wonder Woman issue. And now, she's even getting into movies. AJ will also be appearing in the future as a part of WOW Wrestling, where she's expected to be a producer and commentator. So AJ has a lot of big projects coming up, so be on the lookout for that. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.